Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Giuseppina and I'm an intuitive healer. And I talk about topics on spiritual awakening and healing, trauma recovery from narcissistic abuse, our subconscious programming, as well as autism. So, welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I would really love it if you hit the like and subscribe button below. Today's topic, let's get right into it, is this weird contrast that you feel once you start to do healing work. By the way, you probably hear me better because I finally got a microphone. Been waiting to purchase one and I finally was able to. So, yeah, I want to talk about the contrast that we feel when we are healing and when we're transitioning from kind of moving into who we are and the things that we want. And what I mean by that is when you start healing and changing your patterns, you start moving towards the things that you want, you start creating something new. And that's kind of in this like very weird territory. You find yourself in this incredibly weird territory where it's like you're creating and shaping a brand new world. However, you're kind of still in the old world. So, our society has very, very rigid and old structures in place, paradigms, and it's hard to kind of escape those patterns. So while you're kind of moving into your new creation of your life, your path, you're kind of straddling both of those. And so there's this weird contrast that you feel when you're in this like liminal space, let's just call it. Because on one hand, you feel this fulfillment and joy about moving towards the things that you want, finally being able to connect with yourself, finally knowing who you are, your truth. And I don't know if it's too bright here, but I have this like light here and there, so I have to kind of play with the lights because I'm using my webcam camera at the moment that I have not upgraded just yet. That'll be my next thing. But anyways, getting back to what I said, you're in this liminal space where you're creating the new. And so, yes, you have the fulfillment of who you are. Don't want that light on my head. Of who you are. You feel fulfillment from that. You feel joy. It feels exciting. It feels a bit free. It feels like this, like sovereign, empowered energy that you have of being able to break free from the shackles or whatever you want to call it, and not working that corporate job, like quitting from like the old programming that you normally are part of, that you participated in. And so you kind of slowly begin to move out of that, and you maybe have more free time where you're more intentional with your time. Maybe you're creating like really deep, meaningful connections with other people now, and you have this like really nice flow in all of those areas. However, your foot is still in the other side. And it's hard not to be there because unless you have the ability to go off to some country and create a commune or like a community with other people where you're all living off the land and bartering with things, then the chances of you being completely free and sovereign are kind of slim to none at the moment, just right now. So we have to still kind of adhere to the programming and the structures that are in place. And the contrast between that and what you're moving towards is so different because one is coded in this subservient energy of you being this obedient civil servant who does for others, who works for a hierarchy, and you do for the people who benefit from what you do. And it's not a programming that helps you to thrive. It's one that is, fake. It's one that is totally like manipulated and just like so much going on behind the curtain there. And there is so much lack there, so much abuse of power. And oh my gosh, we can make an entire video just on the system and what it's about, but we're not going to do that. But on the other hand, then you know, you have this new space that you're creating within you and around you of like authenticity and connection and realness, and you lean back into that energy and you feel, you don't feel the rush anymore. You're no longer putting your value on your productivity. You nap when you need to. You don't do the things if you don't need to. You take strolls. You breathe in the air. You talk deeply with your friends about your grief, your trauma, or the stars, or just make a recipe together and you laugh, or you cry, whatever that is. And you start doing the things that you want to do. You start a business, you become an entrepreneur, or maybe you work for a small community type of industry or work that feels fulfilling, or maybe you volunteer and you start to change those things around you. And so when you are doing all that work and changing your life, feeling the contrast becomes more and more, because once you get a taste of that beautiful authentic feeling of being in this space, you can feel the contrast so much more of our societal programming and how like terrible it is. It's not normal, it's awful, and it is not conducive to healthy living. It's not conducive to people thriving and being well. Like people's mental health is seriously being challenged in every which way. And so it's normal that you begin to feel the contrast more, and it becomes increasingly difficult to feel like you can survive in our everyday lives, in our everyday life because of that. So the reason I mention that is because you might be, when you do get those moments where you feel really, you know, downtrodden or whatever, you can really feel hopeless. The hopelessness from feeling like you can't escape that can get really, really heavy sometimes. But I just want you to know, like, to make, you know, lean into the other people that you find, and you will, when you start healing, even though you lose your friends and things like that, you begin to find other people who are at the same place as you, the other people that see that, the other people that are also want those things, the other people who are doing that work and you can connect with, whether it's online, in person, or both. You will begin to find those people. And when you have those moments of deep grief and despair, lean into that. Lean into the healers, the people who are there to help you. And when you do choose a healer, like obviously, like I do a lot of this stuff, but if you choose other people, the people in your life, be sure to, you know, choose the people who can be a container for you. I think I made a short video about this on my Instagram, but I talked about like, you don't want to choose people who promise you that they're gonna heal or fix you or something like that, because just not how any of this works. There's no promise of anyone healing. Even as a healer, I don't heal people. You provide the container, and you are the facilitator of it, where I can offer my own expertise and my own gifts to help people on their journey. But healing is always a solo job. It's something we do on our own. And we find healers, support people in our lives to help us on their journey. They're just facilitators, they're guides, they're containers to help us in those moments of growth, and they're important. They're very important. So do find those people in your life if you can. Find the friends, find the community. You will need them more and more. You will need those pillars more and more the further along you go on this journey. And I'm only saying this because, like I said, you will begin to feel the contrast more and more. And so, is the interesting thing that happens, like I said, is that you feel this immense amount of joy. You feel so good about the life that you're creating and that you're choosing. And yet at the same time, you simultaneously feel this grief and sadness for the other things that are occurring. Both of those can be true at the same time. You can be feeling both of those things at the same time, sometimes more than other times, but you can feel both of those things at the same time. And there's not anything wrong with you if that's occurring to you, the more we heal and the more we connect with ourselves, the greater capacity we have to feel things, first of all, and also to feel the duality of things, which is so incredibly important. And we tend to have more of an acceptance where we can see things as they are and not get swept up into it. But this happens with time and with experience as we go along. So, anyways, I just wanted to talk quickly about that. And, you know, until we have more people who are on this journey continuing and creating something new, because I would say, I'm like, we can't go into the system and try to fix the system. That's not the option here. That is not the option, and it never was. The system has to be abandoned, collapse on its own. And the only real way is to start creating our own way of being. And we actually do that by changing our way of being, our frequency and our vibration, and how we shift that, and choosing to do differently, choosing to connect differently, connecting more authentically, connecting more deeply with others, and creating these true authentic connections with ourselves and one another. That is the biggest currency. That is the highest frequency, our connection, and all of that. And so once we begin to do that, once more and more of us begin to do that, then we can see a more visible shift across the planet globally. So continue what you're doing. It's not in vain, I promise you, although it feels like that sometimes. Just keep doing it. I want you to speak your truth. I want you to stand there and speak your truth as much as you can. If this is something, you struggle with, just finding others. That's all I'm going to say is find others. So I hope that this gave you some kind of reassurance, and that, it's not all in vain, and it's not for nothing, or it's not for naught. But have a beautiful day. Please follow for more discussion if there's anything in particular you want to talk about, or if you have any questions about this, or if you just want to share your experience, or if you want support, feel free to comment in the comments, and we can have conversation about that and offer one another support and friendship as much as we can. Okay, so take care of yourselves, have a beautiful day, and until next time, bye.